Hello everyone, my name is Bridget Dugan from BD Consultancy and I'm a mentor on the Cosby Coast and Glens Alchemy Programme, specialising in business development, managing staff and employee matters. Due to the global spread of COVID-19, employers are dealing with a rapidly changing situation. Restrictions imposed to deal with the outbreak, such as self-isolation and social distancing, are having a huge impact. Many businesses are dealing with dwindling customer demand, issues in their supply chains, and the logistics of operating with a remote workforce, and in a lot of cases having to close their businesses completely. Employers are being forced to contemplate steps that they thought they would never have to face. In the coming months, employers will need to consider short and long-term measures. The purpose of this presentation is to provide business owners in the Cosby Coast and Glens Borough with relevant information and advice to support them through the effects of the coronavirus pandemic. Over the last couple of weeks, I have been working with a number of our SMEs and micro businesses throughout Northern Ireland, and I've been asked a number of key questions regarding employees. And I'm going to go through a number of the questions here and give you a brief outline. Question 1, what is furlough leave? Furlough leave is where our government has allocated a budget for employers to place their employees on furlough leave if required. Furlough leave means that if your employees are unable to work or have no work to do because of the COVID-19, you as an employer might be able to keep your staff on the payroll. This is known as being on furlough. The Coronavirus Job Retention Scheme is a temporary scheme that has been brought in by the government, and it's open to all UK employers for at least 3 months, starting from the 1st of March. The scheme is expected to be up and running by the end of April. It is designed to support employers whose operations have been severely affected by the COVID-19 virus. Employers can use a portal to claim for 80% of furloughed employees, usually their monthly or weekly wage costs capped at £2,500 a month. The scheme is open to, as I've said earlier, to all UK employers that had created and started a PAYE payroll scheme on the 28th of February 2020. Question 2, can employers backdate the furlough period to the 1st of March for all employees, even those who have been working since then? The answer to that question is no, employers cannot backdate the furlough period for all employees. The scheme is only backdated to the 1st of March 2020 to cover employees who have already been made redundant as a result of the virus restrictions. Employers are only eligible to claim the reimbursement once they have agreed the furlough with employees they have stopped working. In order to ensure clarity, employers require employee consent to being designated as a furlough worker. I encourage all employers to provide each employee with a consent letter if you intend to furlough them. Question 3, as there will be a delay to payments, do employers have to pay first and claim later? Yes, employers must pay the employees first and wait for the claim to come through. Employers will need to fund 80% of furloughed employee wages, as I've said earlier, capped at £2,500 a month, and then calculate and retrospectively claim that amount back. Although the scheme is hoped to be fully operational by the end of April, it is already too late for the March payroll. There may be glitches with the April payments too. So if employers don't have cash flow in place, I urge them to speak to their banks or apply for the Coronavirus Business Interruption Loan Scheme. Question 4 that I've been asked: what if the employer gets 80% and the employee still works away? An employee who is furloughed must not work for the employer at all to be able to claim the salary reimbursement from the government. The grant does not cover the wages of employees who work reduced hours due to the virus. So it is in the employer's interest to ensure that employees do not do any work. Question 5. Do employers have to pay full holiday pay if holiday is taken during the furlough period? Yes, employers have to pay full holiday pay if holidays is taken during a furlough period. Although it's more expensive to have an employee on holiday rather than furlough, the advantage for the employer is that the employee's remaining holiday entitlement between now and the end of the holiday year is reduced. Question 6. Can I place an employee on furlough instead of statutory sick pay? Employees who are on sick leave or self-isolating should get statutory sick pay. Employers can place them on furlough leave after the sick pay period is over, and if there's no work for them to do and they would otherwise be laid off or made redundant. Question 7, and this has been a question that I've been asked several times over the last few weeks. Are casual workers and zero-hour contract workers covered by the furlough scheme? The 80% wage guarantee will not cover zero-hour contracts or casual workers unless they work on the PAYE system. For casual and zero-hour contract workers who are on the PAYE system with variable hours, their previous pay can be used as a benchmark for furlough pay. Question 8. How do I manage employees who are self-isolating or have symptoms? If an employee needs to self-quarantine on the advice of the doctor or by ringing the NHS 111 number, they are entitled to statutory sick pay from day one. This includes individuals who may be carrier of the COVID-19 but may not have symptoms, and will also apply to people caring for those in the same household who display COVID-19 symptoms and have been told to self-isolate. Question 10. What happens if an employee's contracts coronavirus? Do they get full pay or sick pay? If an employee contracts coronavirus, this should be treated in the same way as any other sickness absence in terms of payment. If the employer normally only pays SSP during sickness absence, then this is what the employee should receive, subject to meeting the qualifying criteria. Employees who are self-isolating on medical advice are also eligible for SSP. Question 11. Do employees need a medical certificate? Medical evidence is not required for the first 7 days of sickness, i.e., employees can currently self-certify those the first 7 days and do not need to get a doctor's note or an NHS 11 certificate. After 7 days, it is up to the employer to decide what evidence, if any, they require from the employee. Employers might also need to be flexible with notes, as an employee might not be able to obtain a note straight away during the current situation that we're in. Question 12. I've heard about short-time working and layoffs. What are they and should I implement them? Layoffs and short-time working are relatively rarely used legal provisions which cover situations where there is not enough work for employees to do. Layoffs means an employer asks an employee to stay at home and not attend work or be paid for a temporary period. Short-time working means the employer requires their employee to work less than their regular contracted hours. For example, maybe work now a 3-day week. I've recommended to a number of my clients over the last few weeks to use this time to look at their business. I've also explained the most important asset in your business is the welfare and health and safety of your staff. I'm encouraging them all to act now, review their company's risk assessments and communicate these to their staff, especially to those business owners that currently still have staff employed. It's the employer's legal responsibility to ensure that their workplaces have adapted to ensure safety of employees who are working throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Measures include communication, keeping everyone updated on actions being taken to reduce risks of exposure in the workplace, ensuring that social distancing guidance is implemented in the workplace, particularly for any employees who are in a vulnerable group, are strongly advised to follow the social distancing guidelines. Times are uncertain for Northern Ireland businesses right now. However, this time should be seen as an opportunity to ensure that your business is compliant with all HR and health and safety requirements. And a key number of questions that I would ask are SMEs and micro businesses that employ people. Do you have appropriate employment contracts in place for each of your staff members? Do you have an appropriate employee handbook in place for your staff? Do you communicate with your staff? How can this be improved? Do you have an up-to-date database or systems to ensure you have the accurate personal details of all employees to communicate with them? For any of our SMEs or micro businesses that need help and guided through this pandemic of COVID-19, please do not hesitate to get in touch with Causeway Coast and Glens Business Support Team. Louise and Joanne are at the other end of the phone, so I would encourage anyone that needs the support to tap into the Alchemy program. The support is available. And I'll just finish off by thanking our NHS staff for all the hard work and dedication that they've given to everybody, and encourage everyone to stay home, protect our NHS and save lives. Thank you.